welcome. Nice to see a bunch of people.
Hello.
So maybe first we can introduce ourselves, but in the normal way.
Yes. I'm Pierre TIBULLE, the guy on the right. I'm the CTO of Ecobox. It's a French startup.
Yeah, and I'm Thierry here, Thierry Chantier. I'm working in the DevRel team for OVH Cloud, which is a cloud provider. So you see this little panda, it's because I have professional goals each year, and this year I have to draw. So, hi Horacio, you see, I draw something. And of course, you
may notice something different on stage.
We are a little bit French.
We are French. But I'm also a plastic artist, an amateur, in a collective named La Boîte en Valise. And in this collective, I do cosplay with volume techniques. And if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you could have seen posts with me in Martian from Mars Attack, Master Splinter from Ninja Turtle, Captain Caveman from cartoon from the 80s, or the last one is a clicker, the mushroom zombies from The Last of Us.
That's my main role, you see.
The boring definition of cosplay.
Cosplay. Boring, come on. It's okay.
Boring. Portmanteau. I don't know the word portmanteau. I discovered it for
we learned a lot of new English words, of course, for this one.
A portmanteau of costume and role play, an activity and performance art in which participants called cosplayers wear costumes and fashion accessories to represent a specific character. Character from comic books, manga, movies, series, like this cosplay are from the series from Netflix, Arcane.
Arcane, yes.
And also the game League of Legends.
Yes.
Do you have the reference? Can you show?
Yeah, at least some of you. Yeah, nice. The idea is to have something that you enjoy at first, because then you end up in those situations in front of people. So you have to like the idea at first.
Yes. So what is cosplay for me? It's emotions. There is 3 stages for doing cosplay. The conception. When you imagine, you choose the character, and it should be a character that you like. And then there's a part of creation, when you handcraft the character. And then the public appearance, when you go in front of people. Sometimes it's in convention, like Comic-Con. Do you have Comic-Con in London? Yes? Yeah. Okay.
We saw people in the street this morning, and no one was afraid,
today.
so
no?
It's okay. We were at King Cross, and it feels quite normal.
Yes, Comic-Con for me, sometimes it's better because I'm not alone in cosplay. I'm not so crazy.
But how do you start all of this?
Oh, that's a question. There's two teams. The do-it-yourself or the buy your cosplay. My team is do-it-yourself. But if you buy it, there's no problem for me. Sometimes it's complicated to do concours. I don't know the word.
Oh, when you have to compete, sometimes you just want to have something really nice.
You have to do it.
So if it's your idea of cosplaying, you can buy some stuff.
And competition,
and I am in the middle. He is the do-it-yourself guy, and I am in the middle.
But if you begin in cosplay, maybe you can mix, do some parts and buy the rest. It can be a good tips to begin. How do you create a cosplay? There's a lot of tutorials on internet and on YouTube. But we don't have a day to talk about
maybe
cosplay.
something smaller,
yes,
like a little topic.
We have to focus on how do I create this cosplay of Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger is the name of the character. You can see the reference.
Oh, that's
judge
quite good. No, it's okay.
Is it quite? Close to Heimerdinger, okay? Thank you. Okay. First, a lot of sewing for the coat. I'm not a professional sewer at all.
Oh, come on, Pierre, come on.
Total amateur. If you look at 3 or 4 meters, it could be okay. But if you look at the details, see, you come closer, no, it's not. It's not
That's why
okay.
you have to, please.
Yeah, please.
Yes, okay. Security, please.
But for me, it's my expectation, my level of expectation of my cosplay. It's okay. For professional cosplayer, no, they want to be perfect. Like for front-end, pixel perfect. Not for me. It's enough, and it's okay. If you judge it's okay, maybe you can say something or applause. Or no, nobody. Thank you.
So you are sewing and
Yes.
Little more.
Yes. This was easier for this one, and I use paint. You can paint on fabric. You don't. Maybe you.
and there is a real success for Pierre.
Yes.
He's very proud of it.
The first time I made a zipper invisible, quite invisible. Woo, it's hot for everybody or just for me?
Talking about that,
And now the masterpiece of the costume, the mask. Okay. I never did that before, but I 3D scanned my face with an application on my iPhone named EM3D, and it uses Face ID sensors to create a 3D model.
and on latest iPhones, you even have a small LiDAR, which is even more precise, but it's a good result.
Yes. And I modeled this. I cut.
You took
some-
the result
Yes.
in Blender. That's
in
it?
Blender, and then I printed it on my 3D printer, and at the first try it fit perfectly, so it was good.
And it's a little bit of comfort in, you guess it, it's a bit hot. It's, So if you have a bit of comfort inside, it's better.
My first idea was with plaster, but with plaster you can't glue anything on plaster. So 3D printed piece is better for me. Because I won't do the total volume on 3D printing. I use the foam from mattress foam to do the volume. The mattress foam, you can cut it really easily with big knives, and you can glue it. It's easy, really easy, and you can have the shape of the head of the.
You don't
character.
need to have the exact form.
No.
You have the best and the closest idea of the volume you want, and then you have a little extra work to do.
Yes, the fur. But it was not the usual fur I used. Usually I choose the color of the fur, but now I wanted to have the gradient. I don't know if you see. It's white, then it's light orange,
yellow.
then it's dark orange at the back. So I have to invent something, and I look at a tutorial on YouTube, and
Once more.
and I decided to use a mix of acrylic paint and water, and to spray it on the fur, and to spray it more and more where it has to be darker. It has to be darker. Then I dry it, and then I have to brush and brush and brush again, because it loses the softness with the paint.
The
And
paint is a little bit harder,
Yes.
so you don't have those nice volumes and movement. You have such a nice hairs.
Yes, thank you. And I glued the fur on a foam mattress spike. It was not the more complicated on the process, and voila. A tiny bit of EVA foam. EVA foam is the foam in the yoga mat. I don't know if you see, for sport mat. But too early, but that's not too early. This EVA foam in cosplay, you use it for a lot of use cases. You can use it for armor, for weapons like big guns or swords.
When you need something more rigid?
Well, it's rigid and it's
not too heavy.
It's solid. You can't break it easily. You can
because you can't wear a true armor, and you can't have a huge sword in your hands. It's not true.
You can't go into convention with a real sword. It's not possible. But a sword in EVA foam, no problem. Next. And you can paint the EVA foam, but you cannot paint with standard acrylic painting. You have to add specific additive, like liquid latex or FlexiPaint. FlexiPaint is a specific cosplayer item.
Yeah, the idea is to avoid cracklings on the surface. When you are moving the foam, you may have some disgraceful crackling.
Yes, and you can produce some effect as metal effect or leather effect or skin effect. In my case.
If it's a skin for such a guy.
It's a skin. Skin or leather, you say? Oh.
Yeah.
A mix. But we are at Devox UK, and how about improving this cosplay with a bit of tech? Animatronic ears. I never did that before on my suit, on my costume, but I said it was a challenge. So I had an Arduino box at home, and I had several ESP8266 microcontroller, which has a bit like Arduino controller, but cheaper and smaller. And I look at several tutorials, and I choose to move my ears first with a random pattern of moving. And I will try to connect to battery, but
You need some help?
Yes, maybe. I don't see. Where is the... Tu vois Hélène?
Je l'ai.
Sorry.
Tu veux que je prenne dans la poche?
Ouais. Tiens, hop. Thank you, assistant. My helper. Up. And it moves on a random pattern. And I love because I see sparkle of joy. And it gives me emotions. Thank you.
And the little secret is right here. You have the microcontroller under the neck.
Did you see something? Maybe we can put it up.
Okay. So it's still a prototype, you know, but it works.
Okay, it works. It's not professional at all. It's the beginning of electronics. You can achieve easily with Arduino stuff or ESP8266 microcontroller. I modeled the 3D base of the ears to have a solid base, but it's not great. It's not very complicated on Blender software. Okay.
So
animatronic ears.
It's to have small details in case the demo doesn't work.
And now it's time for Thierry.
Yes, because the first time Pierre wanted to add those servo motors, he's a pure cosplayer and knows a lot of stuff that I don't know at all. But I do a lot of do-it-yourself projects with a small microcontroller. So the idea was to add more technology to the project, but to keep and remain in the same theme. So the first idea in the series, you have this object, which is called HexTech, something like that. It's a mix of magic and technology.
And really dangerous. Take care of the front row.
A lot of lights. So it was something very nice, but a bit complex. Hopefully, for those who are curious, I put a link to the model I found on internet. But the whole stuff, if I wanted to print every details, it was a project for 80 hours, and I am not that confident in my printing system at home. So I decided to go for those small truncated pyramids with runes or symbols. And the idea was to put this on top of little neopixels. Neopixels are little lights that you can control with a microcontroller as some piece of code to change the color, the intensity, and to have some effect below that part. So you will have the whole story because we only tried once this talk in France before. And for the first version, I will show you first version and the version we have today, both from the hardware perspective and then the software perspective. And I will explain what didn't work the first time. And the conclusion is, keep it simple when you want to learn something. Don't put too much in your stack. It's true for our work also. So I started with a large wooden box from a general shop near my home. I made some drill inside to have the cables. So you don't see it, but you have the cables right here. And here I took, it's a strip of a small neopixel. You have those kind of things now for Christmas and so on. And I cut pieces because it's made of 3 contacts each neopixels, and you can cut anywhere, solder, and you put a proper chain of command for your microcontroller. But it was very hard to solder, one mistake. But I had something that was working.
Here you have true colors, but
yes.
The previous version was.
I will show you
so
details
good.
with the camera later on. So when we were selected to come to Devox UK, the first question for both of us is, hey, there is airport security. So I didn't. The box was large, like something like that, so it was not easy to handle. It was a bit frightening because I soldered a lot of wires and stuff that were, yeah. It's not what I wanted to go through the security airport. So I found this little wooden chest. So it was like this. It's very small. It's easy to have that on my backpack. And on the hardware part, I decided to go for this kind of thing. It's called NeoPixel Jewel. It's from a company, maybe you know it. It's called Adafruit. They are doing a lot of hardware and software for people who want to have a do-it-yourself project and also want to learn. So it's often easier product. And on this one, the good idea is that the 7 NeoPixel were already in the right shape, soldered. You have a driver to control it. And I just had to solder 2 or 3 cables. It was very easy. And I will show you the rest. And I 3D printed a smaller version, but it was not possible to have the details inside the structure itself. So you can see later, I just used a little bit of glue with glitter inside to have some symbols on it, because I have to be careful for the cosplay part. Heimerdinger is checking on me. So the first version of the electronic, I kept the same board. I will explain you later. It's the Raspberry Pico board. It's from the Raspberry Foundation. We are in the country of this wonderful foundation. I'm doing a lot of stuff with the kids in workshop.
He's a fan of Raspberry.
Yeah. I'm a true fan. And I decided to go the full way of prototyping with a lot of soldering. So you had to have a common soldering point to have your ground and it was not a very, very good idea because you had a lot of parasites and things like that. I didn't added the capacitor, so I learned a lot of electrical stuff after that. But at least it was lightning. It was not easy to control the proper color because I had too much parasite. I said blue, he answered green, and so on, but something was working. So as I said, this time I went a very simpler way. So I used a breadboard. It's a plastic piece, but below you have lines of metal to have specific cables, which are called the Dupont cables, if I'm right. You can plug and plug, plug and plug.
I use this breadboard also.
And the idea was to have something simple enough in case of troubles. I will be able to debug and change settings very easily. And I'm using here a very simple sensor from another company called Pimoroni, which is a British company. This sensor is able to give temperature, humidity, pressure, and there is something called gas value, which is a mix between small particles and some little details. It does not work well if you don't calibrate the thing, and it has to run at least 24 hours before, so for a demo it's not possible, sorry. We will do something with the temperature, don't worry. And to control all of this, there is some piece of code. So it's the V1 also, because I made also mistakes on the software part. It's very important for you to understand. I don't know if some of you are doing a project at home, but don't be afraid of failure. It's also true from software to hardware. You have to fail to learn. You can't learn without failure. It's not possible.
And we learn a lot.
And we learn a lot. So as I said, I decided to go with the Raspberry Pico board. The main reason for that choice, before that, I was using a lot of STM32 boards, ESP32 boards, ESP, what was yours? 8260, 666, yes. And during the COVID period and time, there was a lot of events at the same time. There was COVID, there was factory issues, there was a lot of issues around those microcontroller and chips sector and domain. So it was harder to find the product I was used to. And the timing was very good for the Raspberry Foundation. It was not planned, but they came at the right moment with a lot of boards, in fact. So a lot of people started to work with those kind of boards, and with a lot of people with a proper foundation, which loves open source, open hardware, you end up with the board with the most support from every language you can find for the embedded world. I love to work with the little Blinka logo. It's from Adafruit. It's called CircuitPython. It's coming from MicroPython, which was the first Pythonish language to be on boards. You can use even Rust. There is C. There is C from Arduino. You have even someone who tried with JavaScript, and you have a lot of contributions. So for me, it's a board. When you want to learn, it's a board very easy to learn because you have a lot of YouTube tutorials also. So that's the power of the YouTube tutorials. On the software stack, in a previous company, I was very fond of Mosquito, yes. Mosquito servers. It's a lightweight protocol used in the IoT world. There are less things to do when you are using Mosquito compared to HTTP protocol.
It was a good idea if you have a perfect network.
And in the end, the place we were had some troubles in the Wi-Fi part. And I don't know why till this day, but the version of the Mosquito server I had on my machine had issue with micro interruption on the Wi-Fi, so it didn't work very well. But the idea was to have the Mosquito server for the board to send information. I made a piece of Python code to have a bridge, which extract. Mosquito is mainly, in the end, it's a queue server. So the board was publishing messages, and my code was just getting the message. It's a very, very small Kafka-ish thing. And I was trying to push the information. I am working at OVH Cloud, so as we said, it's an opportunity when you are doing a project at home to try fun things, but with concrete and real product you may have in your professional life. So I wanted to try this product, which is behind the scene. It's a Kafka with an open search, and then you can plug a Grafana. I know you know. So the idea was good, but as soon as the link here was broken, I couldn't show anything to anyone. So this time, we went with a really smaller stack. I removed all the complex stuff here. I just used the Fast API library and framework. I don't know if some of you are used to that. I know there is a lot of Java developer here. Excuse me, I'm more a Python guy now. I used to be a Java developer. But it's a few lines of code to have a very simple API with your endpoints, with your routes, with your code. I will show you right after. And this server was just connected to a PostgreSQL database, and it was very easy to plug a Grafana on top of it. And the second idea with that, with our experience the first time, was to have both a local setup and a cloud setup. So if something went wrong with the connectivity, I have a small local router here, and I am able to do the demo on a local system. But still, here, it's perfectly working with the cloud. It's OK. So it's demo time. And any volunteer? We need someone to help us during the demo. So is there any volunteer? It's very simple. No harm. It will be OK. Yeah, please, come. So yes, you can applaud, because it's not easy to be in front of those kind of guys. So you can see here, you have the sensor. So when I will show you, you can just put it in your hand, and you will be blowing on it. But you have time. I will show where it goes first.
Wait.
Oops. Alors. Si ça n'a pas switché de réseau. Comment? My machine preferred the Devox Wi-Fi instead of my router system. It's OK, connected. Check. My phone too, of course. Let's go. Oops.
I didn't say it at first, but you can take picture and post it on social network. In convention, when you take picture of cosplayer, you should ask before, because sometimes it's not a good time, and they control some of the image. But no, it's OK for me.
So as you can see, there is no danger, no high current. It's OK. I won't hurt you. Promise, maybe. So this is the sensor, and the idea is to blow on top of it, which will change both the temperature and the humidity, and we will see where we can go with that. So it's a very simple Grafana dashboarding. Here you just have, I hope it will be OK in 5 seconds. And then you have a judge. And oh, yes, nice. It doesn't match what I planned. The yellow must be here and the red here to have two triggers. And you will see the triggers right after that. But I need to check everything first. Sensor value is OK.
Demo.
Yeah. It's OK here. est-ce que c'est le réseau qui a changé encore? What goes wrong? If you know some prayers to the demo gods, it's time. Oh. Yeah.
I can't help, I don't see a lot.
So I forgot all my settings on the triggers on the judge, but it's okay, you have the values. Does it? Yes, it works. So here you have the table value. Every 5 seconds is going to pull something. Yeah, it's okay. But I don't know. Oh, maybe you already decided to see that your hands were a little bit hot. Let's see. Does it move here? Yeah. Come on. Yeah, maybe. So let's have a try and blow a little bit on that. You won't break anything. It's okay. It's already broken. I think I have something strange on my Grafana because it's, yeah, as you can see. I don't know why, of course, because it was working 5 minutes ago. Yeah, it comes back and goes.
It's cooled down, is it normal?
No why. Oh, I switched to the Devox Wi-Fi once more. I know it's better. I know, come on.
Forget the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm going to forget it.
It's okay,
Pierre, you can have some demonstration if you want.
Of what?
What you want. It's a trap.
Thank you.
No, I'm explaining what I'm doing. I try to forget. No, it's not there. Where is those?
Okay.
So it's on the proper network now. So stop being silly. It doesn't update a lot. Is it?
You want a good Wi-Fi?
Yeah. But it's switching every 10 seconds. So
See anything.
it's strange because I have values updated on the right side on the table, but I can't believe the temperature is so high. But it's moving, so something is alive.
Okay.
We see here because Grafana was not able to get the data at the right time, but the object is still sending the values. So here it was okay. My wonderful assistant blow on it, so there is a small progression on the temperature itself. I can't promise anything better if it doesn't want to work more than that. I don't know what happened. It's moving, it's alive, but it's too hot. Maybe try to blow a little bit longer with both of your hands around to see if you can go further. Yesterday I was successful at more than 30 degrees, so you can reach that.
Suspense.
Alors, est-ce qu'il a perdu?
Ah, it moves.
Yes, but it's still the same value.
But on the graph.
Yeah. I have values on the graph, but not on the Jauge. So you are doing a good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can applaud me, of course. So, maybe I can show you also the coding part.
Coding.
Yes. So, oops. To code on the, why is it? Oh, it's full screen. Okay.
I didn't show the code for the here. This was only a 10 line of code. I use C++ for coding on Arduino IDE. But you use Python?
Yeah. I'm just doing the same trick. Yes, that's it. Come on. Yes, it's large enough. So to code using MicroPython or CircuitPython, I'm using this tool which is called Tony, T-H-O-N-N-Y, which allows you to see the local machine and the device itself. On the local machine, it's the folder where I have a lot of libraries coming from Adafruit already ready to go for connection request, for this sensor. What do I have on top of that? So as you can see, if you already saw Python code, there is no differences. The goal of those embedded Python is to take the specification of Python and to keep it as close as possible. Sometimes you can't because those devices can't do everything that a CPU is able to do. And the stuff is as simple as, for example, here it's the part to control the NeoPixels. So you just specify the little pins you have below the board, which one will be in charge of the command, how many pixels you have. You are using a library to control with this pin, this number of pixels. You can set the brightness. Here are some stuff to control the colors because it's using tuples in Python and so on. Here you have small functions. When I want to, you didn't see it when I bring the chest first, but I use the colors on the NeoPixel to see if I have the connection, if the sensor is okay. So each time I have one of those which light up with the green signal to say it's okay. But it didn't check the Grafana. So. Then you have the Wi-Fi part. So it's not very complex. The interesting thing is that using those kind of device and CircuitPython, you have a specific file that you can add, which will contain all your secrets and is automatically used by the system. You just ask as if you were on an operating system, which is not the case, but it's okay, and you will get all your secrets from there. Here you have the part for the sensor, which is using a protocol called I2C, which is an advanced way to see the serial protocol, which is used for decades. And the specific library coming with this sensor, it's as simple as a declaration of an object which will represent the sensor at a specific address, because it's a bus where you can connect a lot of sensors, motors, and things that will respect this protocol. You may find sometimes another protocol called SPI, but it's something that is mainly used for screen because it has a very high refresh rate. And then a very simple while just to get the data, you produce a JSON file because you are going to send it to a server which is waiting for a JSON system. And that was for the embedded part. Yes. Non. Je sais pas pourquoi il veut pas. Voilà. Tac. And this one is the server. What I was telling you is that the FAST API, if I get to the the minimum you have to know with FAST API, you just declare that you are going to have an application using FAST API. Here is just to specify that I am using a middleware to connect to the PostgreSQL database. And then it's just a matter of having functions with annotation where you declare the route, the endpoint you will be using for your server, and what you will do when someone is asking something on that route. Tick, 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 tick. And for the sensors itself, it's here. So the value that you send on the JSON format is just used. I have a small model, it's not very important. I am using something to define objects that will be automatically known through a specific library, and it will end up in the same table model, in the same schema. And that's it for the code part, I believe. Yes. Oops. But there is a little more.
A little more. Let's go back to cosplay. In
Yes.
cosplay, you can add accessories or props. And Heimerdinger in the Arcane series, he has a pet. He's a poro. It's not a small dog because he has horns. So I use the same. He's just under the table. I use the same mattress foam to give the shape, and I 3D modeled with Blender the horns because I wanted to be well designed, and I'm satisfied of the paint job on the horns. If you can see. I'm not a great painter, but this one,
Yes,
I think it's quite good.
There is painting shadows.
Yes, some shadows, some enlightening, some shadows. It's great. It was fun to do. And I use the same design of electronic with 2 servo motors because I wanted the mustache to be animated. But with ESP8266, there is a Wi-Fi capability. So I thought, maybe we can transform this plush into a cute monitoring device because we can request the status of the service and with the response, adapt the speed of the movement of the mustache.
And maybe in a more reliable way than Grafana, of course.
Yes, of course, because it's cosplay, it's more reliable. Up. No, you will see it's not. Ah! If it can't connect, there will be no move, so it can connect. It is connected, and maybe you can.
Yes, yeah.
You can
You
warm
can explain
it up
what it happens
to
below.
see if it goes faster. Will it go faster? Demo. Gods of demo.
Yes, it's
fast.
Come on, Poro, come on. Be with me. Be a good boy. Be a good boy.
If I wanted to have something
the third
more accurate, maybe I use LEDs but I think it's more cute. It's cute. And cute is important in this world. Cuteness.
We ended up with only three states. We didn't send back to Poro the entire set of values.
Everybody's no.
Tiens, bouge pas, tu veux que je te le tienne?
Yeah. Hop là. I don't know if you can see the movement of the mustache.
He's very proud.
And okay.
It's okay for you?
It's okay for me. Is it okay
Thank
for
you.
you?
Thank you,
Everybody
Poro. So
it's time to wrap it up. Oh, there was a video, but it works.
in case demos sometimes don't work. So wrap it up. We tried to put words we were thinking during the setup and the preparation of this talk. So the main one is, of course, fun.
Yes, fun.
Always have fun. When you are doing those kind of projects, the main thing is you don't have to it does not have to be painful. You have to get some fun out of it.
As in the keynote, there's the joy of development, the joy of developer, and in my professional part, I expect to have joy, and also in my hobby of cosplaying. So
Yes, because if your hobby is not
mix.
something joyful, there is an issue.
It's DIY because we did quite everything except the wig.
Yeah.
It's not just true.
Yeah, I am the cheater. You already guessed that. I am the cheater. Oh, and it's a great way to have wonderful opportunities because it was not really planned. We just had one session in French,
Yes.
and we said, why not? But it won't happen. You know, like in the keynote,
can
it won't
try.
happen. Yeah, it's okay. And then they call us. We had to prepare that.
It's why the name of the talk is The Great Adventure, because it's an adventure to come to you and to... This was my first talk in English. I hope you understand. It's not easy,
yeah.
and it's not easy to give a talk under 50 degrees Celsius.
Yeah,
under the
yeah,
mask.
at least.
Is it raining or just under the mask?
No, just below the mask. So do not hesitate if you have some ideas. It's okay to fail even a demo during a conference. It's okay. No one has thrown anything to me, so it's okay. You won't be hurt. And
knowledge, because we learn a lot, and we learn by failing, and we learn by trying. I try for my cosplay and didn't fail.
It was perfect, Pierre.
Oh, I didn't say. I didn't remember.
And it's a good way to have contact with people. We tried this morning. It's wonderful. You won't have someone who is not okay with a cute mask. It's okay. People tend to ask a little bit some questions. Are you working? Yes, of course.
Yes, I am paid for that. I changed my LinkedIn profile picture for a small time. Yeah. And one person really shy came to me and said, I don't usually talk to speakers, but I saw your LinkedIn profile, and then I think you're accessible. Opportunities to meet somebody, to meet a lot of people. An opportunity to give a talk with Thierry.
Yes.
Which is more makers and me. And
it's an adventure. We came here. We've done a lot of stuff in London. It was nice.
Yes.
We have a little bit of time if anyone has questions.
Alors, please, question slowly and understandable words for French people. Thank you. Do you have questions? About cosplay or about the core
yes,
technology?
Please.
You know that sensor in the box?
Yes.
Can it detect CO2 or anything?
CO2.
Oh,
CO2.
there is something linked to the quality of air. It's a mix between CO2 analysis and small particles. Inside the sensor, you have a thin layer which has a chemical interaction with the air, and it's modified the impedance of this part of the sensor, and the calibration is here to have the correspondence you need for the case you want to observe. So you can sometimes observe CO2 if you decide to observe CO2. But at that time, you have a specific code which you have to run. And depending on the second sensor, which is already calibrated, you can have the proper values set for the sensor. And then you will have a measurement of CO2. If you decide to go to the particle measurement, it's the same thing. In fact, it doesn't really precisely measure something. It's around quality of air. It's a very simple sensor. You have more specific sensor to do that. You will find something called S8. You have a lot of those kind of sensors. I use those for schools in my area during COVID times. It's more appropriate to have the CO2 measurement. But
a good idea to have put sensors under the mask to know when I will die.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, first, and then, yeah, quick.
How do you guys take the props to the convention? Does it need to be plugged into the computer?
Sorry?
Does it need to be plugged into the computer?
No. This time I plugged to the computer to show you the code, but the same way Pierre is using a simple battery. Yeah.
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Battery. Metallica fans. Yes.
Last one.
Oh, what next?
Rocket Raccoon for me. Yes.
And maybe my first real cosplay for that time with a mask from Quill. You know? We'll see.
Maybe. We'll
And
see.
it's time's up.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
everyone.
very much.